Hey up, from Row Racing DP here. Now, I've been asked by a few people just to have a quick look at something. You'll have to excuse my phone. To have a quick look at something. A bit of a comparison from pad to wheel. Now, I had no intention of doing any comparisons because they tend to create arguments. But I have had a few people ask me. Or like mention it, and it's like, okay, let's go and have a look. Right, we're at Monza. I'm using Monza just because of the straight. I've done speed tests here before. Okay, I'm currently on a Thrustmaster T300 wheel, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put number 5 setup on and not touch it in the slightest. Right, I'm in time trial in the dry, so the air temperature is 28, track temperature is 47. Right, so the setup is quick car setup number 5, and I'm also going to show that I've got no assists on. Okay, no assists on. Right, so I'm on a Thrustmaster T300. Now, one of the things that people have asked me to have a look at is how the wheel brakes compared to how a pad brakes. And I don't mean snapping, I mean actual in the braking zone. So what I'm going to do here at Monza is I'm going to go onto the track. I'm going to go around the final corner, head up to turn 1, and I'm going to brake. Full brakes, like absolutely full on the brakes. I'm not going to do any downshifts, I'm just going to brake. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the pad. Now what I'm going to do as we head down to this corner is I'm going to pick a gear, probably 3rd. And take it to its limit. About 117 mile an hour at this white line coming up. I will shift up. Okay, so we'll have a constant speed for the start of the run, no DRS, and I'm going to brake at the 150 metre marker board and just full brakes. Okay, great big dirty lock up. Right, find my pause button and return to garage. And now I'm going to turn off my wheel. It'll probably be easier to unplug it if it will allow me to do it that way. Okay, so the wheel is now unplugged. It says there my controller's been disconnected. Okay, so now I am on a control pad. We'll still stay with number 5 quick car setup, not altering anything on it. And obviously we don't need to change the tyres because we are in the quick car, time trial. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to track using a pad. Now, I don't use a pad, so don't judge me. But I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Just have to find out which button does what. Okay, so 3rd gear, which we're going to take to its limit, up to the white line. And we're going to brake at the same point, full on brakes, just to see if there's a difference. No DRS. Okay, 150 metre marker board. Slightly different in its lockups there. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do exactly the same thing in the wet. So I tell you what, I wonder if I can just plug my wheel back in. So let's go back to the garage for a moment. I have to find where my cable is. Okay, plug my wheel back in. Okay, so let's end this session, and what we'll do is we'll go back into time trial in the wet and see what it does there. So time trial at Italy in the Mercedes, and the weather type, let's go for wet. Now I think it's fairly clear from that first run. I mean, I did do full brakes on both, I didn't do any downshifts. There's definitely a difference of at what point they lock up. I mean, on the wheel it was a great big dirty lock up. On the pad it was a tiny little lock up sort of at the end. but we'll see what happens in the vet. And this is where I'm glad that while I'm on a pad I don't have to go around the whole of the circuit. Now, question would be, do I do it on number 5 again or not? I'll tell you what, let's put it on quick car setup number 5 again. No alteration of the setup, and I'm now on the pad, I'm on a controller. So on this setup it shouldn't be very good in the wet, but we'll see how we get on. I'll try doing the same thing where I'm in 3rd gear around the parabolica. If you say that wrong, people will think you are being offensive to them. Okay, so we're in 3rd gear. Interesting, only doing 16 instead of 17 there. Okay, so on the pad we'll do the same thing, brake at the 150 and we'll see what happens. So let's get ready. Okay, a little bit of a bit more of a lock up there, I think that's fair to say. And we've gone quite straight on, but it was odd because it was almost like that had ABS on it then, sort of lock up, not lock up, lock up, not lock up, and then obviously we've gone straight on. Now I'm going to try and turn off my controller, my DualShock, and see if I'm back on the wheel. Okay, I am now back on the Thrustmaster T300 wheel, so we'll just check, make sure that the settings are the same on number 5, and as you should know, I haven't got any assists on, so I haven't changed any of these. And let's see what happens for this then, shall we? Okay, so we'll do once again same thing, 3rd gear around the final corner. So 116 again. And we'll just go full brakes at the 150 meter marker board. Now there's a much bigger lockup, but we have actually stopped earlier, so that's very, very odd. On the pad it's not locking up anywhere near as much, but we did slide much further on. On the wheel in the wet it's locking up more. And this is one of the things that obviously I was asked to do the comparison on, was how much the pad locks up, sorry, how much the wheel locks up compared to the pad, because for any wheel users on the game, they know you touch the brakes a bit, it tends to lock up. You have to be very, very clever about how you use the brakes. So yeah, it's been mentioned to me by a few people, which is why I wanted to do it. So I'm trying to have another quick look at in the dry to see where the cars end up, whether they end up in the same place. Now, to be fair, doing it in time trial is not fully representative of online, because you get different levels of tyre wear, but I'm doing this in time trial because it is going to always be exactly the same. You can get a direct comparison from one to another, but it may not be representative to online. However, I do know that the way the pad brakes compared to the wheel is the same online, because I have looked at it online. So yeah, okay, so let's go into number 5 again, not affect anything on the setup. And I'm not doing this video to sort of say, oh, pads got everything on. It's just someone's mentioned it to me and asked whether I could show what the cars are like in under braking. It's like, well, okay, here we go. I mean, I'm not going to sort of give any real judgment on it. Okay, hit the white line. Okay, so I'm going to brake at 150 meter marker board again, but I'm interested in seeing where the cars end up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, facing the wrong direction on this occasion, but it didn't take long for the car to be locking up. Okay, I mean, I was not expecting that to spin, but okay, we'll return to the garage. I'm going to unplug my wheel again because that was on the Thrustmaster T300, which is now unplugged. I shall turn on the... There we go. Controller is back on. I shouldn't need to check the setup, but just for clarification, there you go, setup unchanged. And I'll also check the assists, if it actually decides to bring up the pause menu. Okay, it's not. Okay. Well, I can't show you the assists, I'm afraid, but they are off because I haven't changed anything other than turn the controller on. And obviously, if it does lock up, okay, I've got no controller. Well, that didn't go to plan, did it? Okay, why is the controller not working? Right, bear with me a second. Okay, let's restart that lap, see if we've got the controller now. No. Oh, that's a pain in the backside. Why can I use the menu, but I can't drive the car? And now I can't use the pause button. Ah, well. Right. Let's retry that, shall we? It must be because I actually turned off the controller beforehand. Right, plug the wheel back in. Okay. Right, okay, so I could use this here on the pad or the on the pad or the controller. Okay, let's see. I can use the pause button there. Right, okay. So I can use the pause button here on the controller. So let's see what happens then if I go to track. I've got them both plugged in. Let's see if it's the controller that is in. Aha, yes, okay, I've got the controller working, so we'll do the same test again. Sorry about the little momentary lapse of, or momentary issues. Okay, so same thing again, we'll see where we end up. I mean, that's only locked up for the last meter. Now, comparing it to the very first one I did, the cars have probably ended up in a similar place, but with two completely different styles of locking up. So anyway, there we go. I've been Front Row Racing DP. Interesting pad v wheel comparison there. I'll let you yourselves make the conclusions on that one.